Yo, what is going on, guys? Dunturner Tank here, and I have a Ritual Beast deck profile for you guys. So, to get started, triple Elder, triple Canahawk, triple Rampingu, double Winda, double Win, one Lara, one Zephyra, one Apelio. We run triple Ghost Ogre. Now this is a card that you pretty much have to have. I would also run Ash Blossoms, but I currently don't have any Ash Blossoms, so I just run Ogres instead. That's all the monsters. Defizzer. This can actually win games. Oracle Zephyra. Brain Research Lab. Additional normal summon, just like Elder. 2 Terraformings. I was going to run 1 Upstart Goblin instead of the second Terraforming, but the second Terraforming actually seems to be more consistent, because you're just terraforming into either of these two or just terraforming into this. Plus you also get to add a monster to your hand, so it's usually better. 2 Gold Sark, and that's all of the spells. Next up, Macrocosmos, Imperial Order, Judgment, and Warning. So these are pretty much some of the best one-ofs in the game as traps, especially Macro and Imperial Order. You can actually win games with that. 2 Torrential Tributes, 2 Ambush, 3 Steeds. So only run 2 Ambush. Sometimes I wish I run 3, but it just seems like 3 can sometimes be a brick. Steeds is almost never a brick. It's non-target removal, so it's pretty amazing. Triple Strike. That's it for the traps. And a side note with Torrential Tribute is that whenever you have one of your Ritual Beasts, one of your ultis on the field, whenever your opponent summons all their monsters and everything, you just activate this. So activate the effect, it tags out, then you activate this, blows up all your opponent's monsters, then your monsters in the Bennett zone come back here and they don't get destroyed by Torrential Tribute. So this is actually a really good card. I'm actually not a big fan of it though, because Steeds is pretty much a Torrential Tribute, but you can search it out. And especially if you're going first, you'll probably have a chance to pretty much blow up all of the monsters on your opponent's side of the field. So it's basically another Torrential Tribute. Onto the extra deck. So 3 of these Ulti Camino Falcos. So basically this gives you another normal summon, 600 attack and defense to every Ritual Beast monster it points to. It's also linked to, which is pretty good. And yeah, like it's really good, really strong card. You can tag out, and you run 3 because you want to banish it with Rampingu, and then you get to send a Psychic to the graveyard, which is usually Winda, which is why you run so many. Deco Talker, you really don't need this. I never have used it. Triple Burst Dragon, I've used it maybe once or twice. Like, it occasionally comes up. I'd probably replace them for the Utopia package. Maybe keep that and cut something else out. It's entirely up to you. That's all the links. If you have Borlo Dragon, you might want to consider running that. Otherwise, 1 Petalfin, 1 Canahawk, triple Ulti Apelio, and I run 2 ulti Gaia Pelio. You really only need one of these. I run 2 because the card looks really cool and I like it. And I don't have the Utopia package. Otherwise, I'd definitely drop that and Deco Talker for it. XYZs, Totem Bird, Lightning Chidori, Tornado Dragon. You mainly make Chidori and Tornado Dragon, occasionally Totem Bird. Onto the side deck. 1 Kaiju, only because I just have 1. And the plan of using it is pretty much just go over Masterpiece. Double Twin Twisters. 1 D Barrier, because I only have 1 D Barrier. 1 Soul Drain, because it can be broken. Different Dimension Ground, because I don't have another Dimensional Barrier. Double Heavy Storm Duster. And with these cards right here, if someone flips Imperial Iron Wall on you, you pretty much lose. So that's why I have these in here. And Skill Drain will also mess you up. And Strikes will mess you up. So you want to Twin Twister and pick apart their back row so they don't strike your ulti Canahawk. 2 anti-spells. So slide these in if you go up against someone who uses a lot of spells, so you'll have Imperial Order plus 2 of these, which is really strong. Double Storming. OTK decks can kill you really easily, unfortunately. It really depends. I mean, you can usually handle most of them by just blowing up their cards with steeds, but if they can bang out a lot of resources or Twin Twister you, they can go for the OTK. And triple Trapstun. Now, Trapstun's a really interesting card, and it actually won me a game going up against True Dracos at locals. But I put Trapstun in pretty much because of all of the traps that I'd end up going up against and D Barrier. So the idea is that I can try to bait out D Barrier by normal summoning Elder and then Canahawk. And then they'll be like, oh, D Barrier, and then you'll be like, Trapstun. So their D Barrier will just die. And then all their strikes and warnings or whatever it may be won't be able to activate that turn. So you can just go off and go for the OTK. Because this deck right here, if you go first, you can get enough monsters on the board to where you can just beat over your opponent. Even though this is side deck, so it'd probably be later on in the game. You can still get some wins with it. So, onto my locals report, I actually got, let's see, pretty much everybody at the locals actually lost. No one won all of their games. So you only have 3 matches, so it's pretty much me and I think 1 or 2 other people who went 2-1. But my first matchup, I actually lost against Cyber Dragons. I got 2-0'd by them. I don't really know what happened. I just opened up like really bad. Because occasionally, this deck's pretty consistent, but sometimes you'll only open up Tamers and Trap cards, and you just can't do anything when that happens. And it's really rare for that to happen, but it occasionally happens. And it just happened both games, and they also Twin Twisted me both games and just hit the right cards. So I just straight up lost both of those games. Couldn't really recover. And then on to the next game, I went up against this like pendulum player who used the Performapals. And I 2-0'd him. And then I went up against True Dracos, which was basically the guy who was undefeated. And he also beat the Cyber Dragon guy. And I actually beat him. I won the dice roll, and I won the first game. And lost the second game. And I was actually able to steal the third game using Trapstun. Because he has cards like Anti-Spell, which doesn't do too much against me. But I actually opened up Twin Twisters. And he also flipped the Monarch's Erupt on me. So I was like, Elder, and then he's just like, Monarch's Erupt. Or whenever I brought Canahawk, he activated it sometime during that. I'm just like Trapstun. Then I just go off with my plays. Twin Twister him, destroying the Erupt. And then also destroying the Diagram. I was going to keep the Anti-Spell in the field, because that would mess him up. and I basically just attacked him for a lot of damage. He drew a card and it was nothing, so he just scooped. So I actually beat pretty much the hardest matchup at the locals, which is the pure true Dracos. So really happy about that. I'm thinking about making a couple more. I'm thinking about making a couple changes. I'll have to experiment with it, see what's on the new ban list, and try to get some more cards for my side deck. But it actually did surprisingly well, except for the Cyber Dragon matchup. Somehow I just really bricked and just couldn't do anything both of those games. Yeah, but otherwise, that's the deck profile, guys. Let me know what you think. Peace out.